In the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful. Dear students, welcome all of you, and how are you? Today we will complete the revision of Chapter 2, Life and Living Things. In the second part of the revision we will complete the following topics: eyes, ears, skin, tongue, nose. After this lesson you will be able to comprehend their knowledge regarding these topics for more clarity and understanding, to recall the short and long questions for sake of more comprehension, to solve the comparative worksheets regarding these topics. First we will recall the first sense organ, eye. The eye is an important and one of the most complex sense organ that we humans are endowed with. It helps us in visualizing objects and also helps us in light perception, color and depth perception. Besides, these sense organs are pretty much similar to cameras and they help us see objects when light coming from outside enters into them. The eyes are held in place by muscles which also move our eyes up and down and from side to side. We have two eyes few centimeters apart. Each eye sees a slightly different image. The brain puts the two images together to give a three-dimensional effect. This effect is called stereoscopic vision. Now we will recall the structure of human and working human eyes. Iris. The colored part of the eye. Pupil. The hole in the middle of the iris is called pupil. Cornea. It acts like a window at the front of the eye. Muscles. Some muscles move the eyeball and some change the shape of the lens. Lens. After light enters the pupil, it hits the lens. E-lens. The lens job is to focus light rays on the back of the eyeball. Retina. The retina is the light-sensitive nerve tissue in the eye that converts images from the eye's optical system into electrical impulses that are sent along the optic nerve to the brain, to interpret as vision. Working of human eye. 1. The rays of light from the object enters the eye through a hole or opening called pupil. 2. The amount of light entering the eye is controlled by the iris. 3. The muscles of the iris change the size of the pupil to allow more or less light to pass through a hole called pupil. 4. Then the light rays passes through the lens, which is made up of a jelly-like substance. The lens is a clear disc-like structure that helps to focus light on the retina. It can do this because it is adjustable, and uses a muscle called the ciliary muscle to change shape and help us focus on objects at different distances. 5. Once the image is clearly focused on the sensitive part of the retina, energy in the light that makes up that image creates an electrical signal. Nerve impulses can then carry information about that image to the brain through the optic nerve. The brain interprets signals from the retina and produces the picture that you see. The recall of human ear. Hearing is how we perceive sound. It's how our ears take sound waves and turn them into something our brain can understand. The ear is an advanced and very sensitive organ of the human body. The ear's function is to transmit and transduce sound to the brain through the parts of the ear. We have two ears which help us to tell where sound is coming from. Maintaining a sense of balance is another important function performed by the human ear. Parts of human ear. The human ear consists of three parts: outer ear, middle ear, inner ear. Working of human ears. The ear flap gathers sound waves from the environment and directs them into the ear canal. From ear canal it moves to the eardrum. The vibration of the eardrum triggers a chain of vibrations through the bones. The job of remaining parts are these small bones which amplify the vibration of the eardrum, increasing their force more than 20 times. The inner ear is filled with fluid and has the hearing organ called the cochlea. The comparison and analysis of all the signals that reach the brain enable you to detect certain sounds and suppress other sounds as background noise. To recall the importance of human skin and its different functions. It protects our bodies and helps keep our bodies at just the right temperature. Allows us to have the sense of touch. The skin helps to keep bad stuff out of our body, like germs and dirt that can cause infection. It also keeps good stuff in, like fluids such as water and blood. It also provides protection against sunlight. The skin has 3 layers: outer, inner and a fatty layer. The skin is multi-purpose, meaning it has a lot of functions. It's our first line of protection against the outside environment. It houses one of our 5 senses. It absorbs sunlight for vitamin D and heat, and regulates our internal temperature. The recall of sense organ of tongue and its functions. Your tongue has the taste buds in between the ridges. The tongue is the main sensory organ of the taste sense. The upper surface of a tongue is covered with taste buds which contain taste. There are several nerves in the tongue that help in transmitting taste signals to the brain, and thus help in taste sensation. Taste buds and locations. Sweet, tip of the tongue. Sour, both sides of the tongue. Salty, front sides of the tongue ridges. Bitter, back of the tongue. Umami, middle of the tongue. The last sense organ we have to recall is nose. The nose is important to health. It filters the air breathed in, removing dust, germs, and irritants. It warms and moistens the air to keep the lungs and tubes that lead to them from drying out. The nose also contains nerve cells that help the sense of smell. Identifying smells is your brain's way of telling you about your environment. Sense of smell. The nose is the body's primary organ of smell and also functions as part of the body's respiratory system. When you breathe in through your nose, the chemicals in the air dissolve in the thin film of water that covers the inside. The dissolved chemicals are detected by nerve cells which send signals to the brain which interprets them as smell. Homework. Review the text of the video carefully and thoroughly. Complete the given consolidated worksheet. Revise the following short and long questions and complete it on your notebooks in case of incomplete notebooks. Short questions. 1. Explain what happens to the iris and the pupil when we walk into a dark room and turn on a bright light. 2. What job does the skin do? How many layers are there in the skin? What are they called? 3. Explain why people with white skin get sunburned. 4. Name the 5 senses and their organ names. Long questions. 1. Discuss the construction and working of the eye. Labeled diagram included. 2. Discuss the construction and working of the ear. Labeled diagram included. Thanks and have a nice day.